everybody, welcome back to Big Ben's Movie Show. I'm your host, Big Ben. This week on the show, we got some cool stuff. We're going to be talking about Star Wars a little bit. We're going to also be talking about American Assassin, the new movie out this week. And stick around till the end because we're going to be talking about the future of the Marvel Universe and what Stan Lee thinks. With me this week, Trevor Allen. Trevor, how you doing?
I'm doing great. How about you, Ben?
Doing good, too. All right. Well, let's go ahead and get right into it. The big news from last week, we're continuing over the story from last week into this week. The number one story was Colin Trevorrow was kicked off the Star Wars Episode 9 movie. They said it was mutual. Probably wasn't.
No, I mean, people tend not to want to leave movies too often unless there are rare occasions. But, this doesn't.
So Colin Trevorrow's out, and in is J.J. Abrams, who directed the first of this new trilogy, the Star Wars Episode 7. So we'll be seeing what he does now with Episode 9. Of course, he is going to have to do another rewrite. I believe they're on their fourth rewrite now, and they've brought in Chris Terrio to do the rewrite, the guy who wrote Batman vs. Superman and also
Argo and
helped write Justice League. So he should be in capable hands with him. Was there anybody that you were hoping would get it? And
I didn't have anyone particular that I was hoping for. I'm actually very happy, J.J. Abrams, because Force Awakens was my favorite Star Wars movie, or it is my favorite Star Wars movie. It's one just I connect with the characters more than the original ones. I was a kid.
Yeah.
Plus, those characters weren't my type of people. Let's just say.
Yeah, no, for me growing up as a kid, obviously when I was a little boy, because I was born right around the time that Empire came out.
Yeah.
So for me, Luke Skywalker when I was a little boy was the coolest thing in the world, and I wanted to be Luke Skywalker every day. And then when I got older and a little cooler, more into the ladies, I started liking Han Solo a little bit more because let's face it, he's a little cooler. I think J.J. Abrams is going to do a hell of a job. He does great stuff. And I think I think it's in good hands.
It's in good hands.
Next up, we're going to be talking about It. It came out last week, 2 weeks ago?
Last week.
And has been setting all kinds of box office records. So far, it has the number one opening weekend for a movie in September, the number one opening weekend for a movie in the fall.
Nice.
So the fall movie season is considered September and October, and then we move into the winter movie season, I believe, which is November, December. And actually, the fall might roll through to November too. I'm not quite sure.
Yeah, I think a little
Probably
bit.
Does. Yeah. But this is the number one movie so far for the fall and for September, and the number two rated R opening weekend of all time.
Yeah, it
behind now Deadpool. So, and it's already, by the way, the most profitable Stephen King movie ever.
Wow.
Which
I can't wait to see it.
There's like 30 Stephen King movies, and some of them are amazing. Like Shawshank Redemption. I looked this up today because in my mind that's a great, huge movie, and I've seen it a bunch. It made $30 million in the box office.
How much did Langoliers make?
I don't even know. I didn't see it.
I love Langoliers.
I don't even know what that is.
You haven't seen Langoliers? Oh, you should see Langoliers.
But like most of his movies didn't make money. Only two of his movies ever have made over $100 million. Dang. And it's It, this new version of It, and The Green Mile.
Okay.
That's it. Pet Sematary, no. The Shining, no. Like stuff of his that have been classics have not made a ton of money.
I don't think I've seen any of these in theaters. Some of them wasn't even born.
Because you weren't born, yeah. So yeah, I wasn't born for The Shining either, but yeah. I was born for Shawshank Redemption, but I was a child, so my parents probably shouldn't have taken me to see that. I might have been too young to see that when I did see that. So I know I saw the original It when I was about 13.
Oh really?
So yeah. No, so the original It I rented for my 13th birthday party, and this is how old I am. It came out as a double VHS.
Oh yeah, I remember those times.
That's how you had to rent it. Yeah,
There's
a handful of movies like that. Titanic was another one. Braveheart, and Gettysburg is the other one that I can think of, where it was a double VHS.
Pearl Harbor was Pearl Harbor?
No, for Pearl Harbor came out as a single VHS.
Okay.
So plus by then there was DVD, so it was like, what's a VHS?
I think my family we had it on VHS. I think.
Yeah.
My mom loved Ben Affleck. Loved Ben Affleck.
Past tense?
Jennifer Garner. She's Jennifer Garner all the way.
Really?
She loves Jennifer Garner.
She's Team Garner.
Yeah.
I am not.
I know.
I think Jennifer Garner is a bit of a child. So, not like you're ever going to see this. You're not going to see this, Jennifer Garner. You don't know who the hell I am.
I have like no opinion because I have no idea anything about these people.
Yeah. So anyway, that's we're going to kind of light on headlines. We're going to talk about some other stuff later on in terms of news. But for now, let's go ahead and get right into the movie review. The movie we watched this week is American Assassin. This comes out today. Stars Dylan Baker and Michael Keaton.
Dylan Baker?
Yeah.
That's his name?
Yeah.
Okay. I thought it was something different. I didn't realize his last name was Baker.
Yeah.
Oh.
It's Dylan Baker.
All right.
From the Maze Runner movies. I mean, you can look it up if you want
No,
to.
for some
but
reason,
I'm pretty sure it's Dylan Baker.
That's not at all familiar to me, even though I've seen his name a lot.
All right. So Dylan Baker from the Maze Runner movies, Michael Keaton, and then also is featured as the bad guy, Taylor Kitsch.
Yes.
And I think he might be figuring out how to not bomb in movies now, is to not be the lead. So
yeah.
It might be a good idea, because Taylor Kitsch, of course, now has had a kind of a record-breaking set of movies that he was in that cost a lot of money and then tanked at the box office. I think it went from Battleship to John Carter of Mars to X-Men Origins Wolverine.
Yeah, he didn't lead that though.
No, but he was in it, and it was
a terrible movie.
Another terrible movie that
he's not. And that more points to he's not a great. At choosing movies.
See, I think I think he's okay. I actually like John Carter of Mars. I liked him in True Detective Season 2.
Yeah, I think Taylor Kitsch is a good actor.
Yeah.
I don't have a problem with him. I thought he was good in this.
I thought he was good in this too. So this movie is about a young man named Mitch Rapp, who his young wife dies. That's in the opening credits, so I'm not spoiling too much. And then he goes on to
she doesn't matter.
train himself to become a killer and go after Islamic terrorists, and gets recruited to be part of a secret black ops team within the government, within the CIA actually, and then the movie evolves from there, and there's story.
It goes. It doesn't evolve. It happens from there.
It happens from there. It goes on from there. We'll say that. So this movie is actually based on a book by Vince Flynn. Vince Flynn died back in 2013, but has written he wrote 13 books for this character, Mitch Rapp.
Wow.
So if this is successful, we might be seeing a whole bunch of these. And it actually took 10 years to get made. So he was alive when they started making this movie, and he died in the course of having it made. So he actually never got to see it on the screen. So, but I can tell you, here's the thing. I have read a Mitch Rapp book, another one of these books, and they are being very true to the character in the brutal, ruthless way that the character fights and attacks people, and which
it does get
very like in a very macho I don't care what anybody says, I'm going to do it my way kind of
he's a renegade, just wild person.
So I liked this movie. These movies like this are I do kind of like these. To me, this is kind of a lot like a Bourne movie, but with probably less focus on the actual character and more focus on the happenings of the world and the events and things like that. Because these movies are based kind of in the real world based, and they used elements of the real life and the real news of what's going on in the world, like the nuclear treaty with Iran was heavily featured in the movie, and so it's based on that real world politics and stuff like that. I liked it. I thought Baker did a great job. I think Keaton did a great job, and I think Keaton grounds this movie and makes it way more legit and basically gives credibility to the whole thing.
Just by being in it.
Just by being in it and his job acting. And it's the same thing I think he did for Spider-Man, where he takes what some people might feel like is a silly comic book movie and elevates it by being just that good.
Yeah. I agree. He's great. I think the acting in this is great. My only issue is I don't think the content is interesting. I have a problem with the content, and in particular, throughout this movie, there are themes.
Yeah.
That don't mean anything. They never connect. They don't actually connect. They mention them, like they bring up similar topics, but they don't really connect to each other at all. Like they act like they do, but they don't ever do. Like the main character's main motive, like one of his problem. You have to learn something, story arcs, development, things like that, right? The main character's big thing, and he does things on his own. He's reckless.
Yeah.
The only thing he does it throughout the entire movie. He keeps being told stop doing that, but it keeps getting results.
Yeah.
Positive results, but for some reason they keep saying, stop doing that, that's wrong. And that seems to be what he's supposed to learn in this movie. So I'm expecting, something's going to go wrong.
I think for him, he's supposed to learn to depend on other people and not just go alone.
When does that happen?
Because in this movie, he starts off in his mission to get revenge as a solo member.
But at the very end of the movie,
and then they bring him into a team.
He is on his own doing a thing.
He's on his own doing a thing.
He learns nothing.
His idea of what to do is wrong, and actually what they tell him to do is actually what ends up saving lives. That, I think, is him
But he keeps
it's not a slam dunk learn your lesson, but it's a little bit.
But also his lesson is the same thing. The bad guy is also reckless, and this is what makes him part of what makes him bad.
Yes.
But the only reason to save
I think what makes the bad guy bad is that he's now willing to
No, it's just a part of the thing.
It's a part of the thing.
This is the theme. This is the connect the dots that
don't
work.
It's the thing that it's the warning they give him. They're like, don't be like this guy because then you're going to go down that path.
But he is.
And
he doesn't stop. Like, he never changes. The entire movie, he's that same way, but there's like a moment at the end where it's like, oh, do the thing we tell you. And he's like, okay, I'll do this very basic thing that you should do.
Yeah.
And then it's like, and then he goes back to doing what he did before. Nothing changes. He's the same person the entire way. And they throw a thing out there like Michael Keaton's character. It also is supposed to have this theme. Like, they also have the theme of, oh, you're making it personal.
Yeah.
That's a thing. Michael Keaton sort of throws out there, which really, like, oh, he's probably taking something personal. Doesn't really matter.
He absolutely is, yeah.
But it doesn't matter.
You can see it all through a lot of the movie, yeah, where they're chasing down the bad guy who was a student of Michael Keaton, and he keeps keeping parts of that a secret from the rest of the team.
But you have this big moment where it's revealed, but it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Like, none of it. It's like, yeah, you're saying these things, but they don't connect in a way that's logical. There's contradictions. There's just these things of they're saying the things, they're using the topics. The topics exist multiple times in this. They just do not connect to each other. They don't make a complete story. They make they're like spots on a chart. They're all over the place. They're not in a notable curve or anything. Like, one's way over here, and you draw the line back here, and then come down like this, and then go up all over the place. It doesn't make sense.
I also read a review online from Vulture, and I kind of knew going in, knowing Vulture's track record, that they probably wouldn't like the movie.
I don't.
But
really
their
know.
Point of why they didn't like the movie was that this is a bad time for a movie like this to come out.
Yeah, I felt that too. Mainly before I went to the cinema, I didn't realize it, but I wasn't wearing makeup or anything for it. But I went to the men's restroom to use their bathroom, and like walking out, there's someone who was in the theater who's in there like looking at me, giving me eyes, like watching me, because I had my hair down too, and they're like, they didn't know I was in that bathroom, and they were just glaring at me, and like I look up from just drying my hands off in the mirror, and I'm just eyes just dead locked on me the entire time. As shit. Yeah, so I walk in there, and that's everyone in that theater is me walking in, and everyone kind of like just watching me.
Which is interesting because the character in the movie at one point actually has long hair.
Sure, but it's not that long.
Not
true. This long where you go, is that a woman?
Yeah.
And they're like, I don't know, so I'm very upset about this.
Yeah. No, that does seem to happen a lot.
It was a very uncomfortable theater.
I don't know if that's a woman, and my discomfort will have to come out in anger.
It was a very uncomfortable theater experience for me, which did not help.
I'm sorry for that.
But I mean, I don't have a problem. It's not meant for me. This movie is not.
No, the movie's probably not meant for you.
And like most movies with America in the title, I'm not the American this type of movie is meant for. But
that's probably true. Yeah.
I don't have a problem with these existing. It's just.
Well, and the whole purpose of all the Mitch Rapp stories is the idea that the people don't know what's going on.
Yeah.
And that the leadership doesn't know what's going on, and it's the service people, the boots on the ground. They're the heroes, and they're the ones that know what's going on. And that's the real push of all of his stories.
It's weird because I didn't get that feeling either. I felt like everyone was kind of dumb in this movie.
Everybody's dumb except for Mitch Rapp.
But he's dumb too. Like, we're being told, like, everyone in this movie tells him
he's dumb, but then he goes out.
I guess he's successful every time.
He goes out and keeps kicking butt.
But he really shouldn't be. Like, he keeps messing things up.
But he's just that good.
He's so good, he messes stuff up, but then fixes it.
Yeah. So in terms of how he messes stuff up and fixes it, the fight scenes I thought were amazing.
There's some really cool fight scenes in this. Yeah.
And his fighting style throughout the whole movie, very MMA centered.
It's very visceral too. They have this blood. It's.
Oh, at one point, and I'm going to go ahead and spoil this one. This is amazing.
Yeah, I think I know what you're talking about.
When this happened, I was like, oh my gosh. At one point, he's out of weapons, and he breaks another character's arm.
Yep.
So that the bone comes out of the skin and says, "Oh, look, a pointed object," and shoves the guy's own arm bone into his neck. Holy cow, that was great. That was some good stuff.
Yeah.
That's
America.
that was some good stuff. Interestingly enough, too, he was really worried because he's just coming off of Maze Runner 3, where he got injured because of a stunt that he did. And he did all of his own stunts for this movie. He actually
crazy.
felt like that was really important. And
I
yeah,
mean-
knowing that you almost died on your last movie
Jeez.
from doing your own stunts, they actually had to like halt production for months before he could come back.
He's really trying to be that Tom Cruise, isn't he?
A little bit, yeah. And the injury that he had on that movie was too his face and head.
Yeah, he was in the
Like,
hospital for a long
yeah,
time,
he
right?
was concussed. It was a really bad injury. And then to come out of that and come into this movie and say, I don't care about those injuries. I'm going to go for it. I'm going to balls to the wall. I'm going to do all my own stunts. It's a brave and almost foolhardy kind of thing to do.
Yeah.
But he got into it, and he said that once I got into it, and once I was in the motion of it, with the stuntmen that we have, it was actually very safe and everything was fine. I got to say though, I don't know if I'd be doing that. Just
I don't
like
know.
if I got in a wreck on a motorcycle, I'd probly go drive a car for the rest of my life. It's
Yeah.
like, okay, I'm getting a Volvo, and then at the end of it, I would just go get nice, safe Norwegian cars and just drive that
Yeah,
forever.
that sounds good. I mean, that's what I say. With this movie, if you want to see an action movie that's like with really cool action, this is a good movie.
Yeah.
I just have a problem with it. Doesn't make sense. There's problems I have with logic that really throw me off.
There was
that's
also
all.
I thought it was kind of one of the other rough parts of the movie for me. There's quite a bit of violence to women.
Oh, yeah.
And specifically at one point, violence to a woman that is his partner.
Yep.
And you think,
It was frightening.
Maybe we're gonna find out that she's actually a double agent.
it was
and
like-
you do for a second, and then they're like, oh, but it's cool. And
Yeah.
then they're partnered up again while she's running around with the bruises on her face
It was
that he gave her.
frightening.
That was really
Because like
that messed me up for a
yeah,
second.
when it turned out she was a spy, I'm like, oh, because I was just like, this can't. He has to be like, this is some sort of like amazing moment where he's become like kind of paranoid and racist, where he's like, you're Iranian, so you must, because he says that.
Yeah.
He's like, you're Iranian, aren't
Do
you?
you work for Iranian intelligence? And it turns out,
And she
yes,
did.
she does.
And I was just like, oh
So,
shit, because I was
yeah.
just like,
Yeah, no, but it actually ends up being exactly what was happening in the movie. So, yeah, all in all, if I was going to give this movie a ranking, I'd probably go 6.5 for me.
2.5. Out of 10? You
Out
said
of 10.
6. Oh, out
Out
of
of
10. 4.
Double it.
4.5.
4.5. All right. Okay, so I would say go see it. If you like the Bourne movies, I would say these are probably up
Yeah, I
your
haven't
alley.
even seen them.
There you go. So, all right. All right, next up, we're going to be playing a game called Does It Matter? This is, we used to play Suck Non Suck at the end of the show, but now I want to try this one out. It's our second week in a row trying it, so here we go. Does It Matter? First one up, True Detective. True Detective came out as a show a couple years ago. First season, a lot of people really liked it. Got tons of critical reviews and raves. Second season came out, completely the opposite.
Yeah.
Everybody hated it. They were like, oh, it's awful, it's boring, it's dumb. And you'd think then that a season 3 is just probably a no-go. Not so much.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, they've talked to the author of seasons 1 and 2, who's also the showrunner, and said, hey, if you want to do a season 3, the door is
Well,
open.
they have everyone
at
cast.
HBO.
They have people cast
And they've
for it.
cast everybody for it, too.
Yeah, it's been a while. They've been casting it for months now.
Exactly, yeah. And the cast, from what I've seen, quite good.
Yeah.
I believe it's...
But it was before, too. So
the names that
doesn't-
Mahershala Ali. Correct me if I'm wrong. Mahershala Ali.
Yep.
I've heard Jake Gyllenhaal.
Oh, I don't know if I've heard.
Okay, so I might have just seen some
That might have been true, though,
posters.
because it's been a little while since I've seen
Yeah,
anything.
I'd heard some big... and that's normal of these shows.
Yeah, they
that
did the last
They
two,
get
yeah.
big names to do this show.
And they were good, like we said, the second season. The actors were good.
Actors were great.
It wasn't that wasn't the problem.
Colin Farrell was wonderful. Rachel McAdams was great. Yeah.
Yeah, so-
even Taylor Kitsch, we just talked about, he was quite good on the show. And Vince Vaughn was great, really good at acting out of his usual character. Wasn't funny, wasn't was tough, was stressed and worried, and showed a lot more nuance than he normally shows.
I will agree he wasn't funny.
Okay, there you go. Do you think it matters? Do you think it happens that season 3 goes through?
I'm interested. I mean, it depends on how well. If it's the same though, whoever that showrunner or whatever, the guy
The director?
yeah, the same guy we had always in the second season, who wasn't really the first one because they had that beef with the other guy.
Yeah.
I don't remember his name, or either
Kerry
of their names.
something.
Fukunaga.
Something like that, yeah.
Yeah, but so he left. I felt like maybe there was a lot of talk that
Yeah.
was the reason. So if this is the same, I have
I mean,
concern.
but if it's the same writer with maybe a different showrunner,
Then it might be better.
Because I think the writing was always strong. It's a matter of pacing. It's a matter of
story, just
visual.
Because
the aesthetics of the first season are what a lot of people caught on to.
Yeah.
Because there was lots of great, big, wide open shots of the swamp and stuff going on with that.
Yeah.
So yeah. I'm into it. If we can get somebody who actually knows the content, knows the show, and can do it right, I'd be down for it.
Yeah,
too.
I'd probably check it out, especially because the cast sounds good.
Yeah.
So.
Cast sounds great. Mahershala Ali is.
Oh, he's
at this point
right now, especially.
He's one of those guys now that it's like, oh, Mahershala Ali's in it. It's like, oh, I'll watch it.
Yeah.
What's it about? I don't care. Don't care. Gonna watch it anyway. All right. Next up, Inhumans has been bumped. Inhumans is a show that's about to come out on ABC. They were going to premiere the show at IMAX theaters.
Didn't they already do that?
It's going to be a big thing. Apparently, they were going to do it, or they did it for maybe a week or two. It's been bumped.
Already.
It's been knocked off. Because the IMAX theaters were like, ooh, it's making a lot of money. Let's bring it to IMAX. So they bumped Inhumans off their schedule to make room for
there's
for
no
it.
way. No one was seeing Inhumans in theaters, right?
No
like,
one was
it's
seeing
only
it.
the people reviewing it.
Yeah.
Like, that's all the money they made. And, like, the few people who are like, I'm going to go see Inhumans.
To be honest, I mean, here's my problem with Inhumans. This is a character, these characters are characters that I never liked in comic books. I've never been horribly interested in. They're pushing them because they can't push the X-Men anymore.
Right.
And then the show looks
terrible.
dumb. Yeah,
It's the same showrunner that did Iron Fist on Netflix,
which was the worst of all the Netflix shows.
Yeah.
And then also they seem to be taking the source material really, really seriously to the point of ruining the show.
Oh, really?
Yeah, like having all the costumes be super accurate to the point of looking ridiculous.
Yeah, but I've heard some things that
Like
they
you can't
changed
see
a lot of
you can't
like
see the
plot
image
elements.
of like what the cast, because it's right here now.
Yeah.
The Medusa costume looks ridiculous.
Yeah,
Black Bolt's costume looks.
They all kind of.
Yeah, they all look really. The only part that I was excited for was Lockjaw.
That's what everyone was saying. That's all I've heard positive about the show at all. Is,
Like,
Lockjaw looks cute.
They got the giant teleporting dog. Cool.
Yeah. There's a
So-
CGI dog. Great. Looks adorable.
Which, spin that guy off. Give him his own sitcom. It's like, like there's a thing on Disney Channel where it's like dog with a blog. Make it Lockjaw. Make Lockjaw the dog with a blog. I will watch the crap out of that. That sounds fun. But as it is, I'm probably going to check it out just because it's a comic book show.
Yeah.
And I have to, and I do anyway, but I'm not on board for this yet. It's going to get canceled. Yeah. So, speaking of comic books, next one up, Stan Lee did an interview this week, and when somebody asked him about the Marvel properties that aren't at Marvel, we're talking about X-Men, we're talking about Fantastic Four. I think those are the two big ones right now. Technically
Spider-Man.
Technically Spider-Man and
Hulk.
parts of the Spider-Man universe.
Hulk is technically has some
Hulk
distribution
rights is still owned by Universal.
Yeah, I think.
So,
yeah.
which is why we don't ever get a solo Hulk movie.
We don't know what is going on with Namor currently. It sounds like they have him.
It sounds like they have him, but other people are saying they don't. But at the same time, I don't think there's a huge rush to do a Namor movie anyway. Stan Lee, though, has come out and said that given time, Marvel will eventually get all of their characters back.
Given time.
And, I mean, given infinite time, maybe. But here's the thing. I don't think Fox is giving up the X-Men ever.
They're just making it huge now. Like, it feels like they're just expanding the universe just now.
Yeah.
Like every other time, it's just been one movie, basically, universe. And then...
I mean, they've been going in fits and starts where it'll be like, oh, we did a movie and it does great. And we did another movie and it didn't do so good. And then they did two solid ones right off the bat. Although X-Men 1 does not age well.
Yeah.
But X-Men 2 is solid, and then X-Men 3 was a dud. And then we wait a while and we come back and we had X-Men First Class. And then, yay, we love X-Men again.
You really skipped some there.
And then we had the Wolverine movie.
We have the Origins.
Yeah, Wolverine Origins, which was really rough. And then we have X-Men First Class, and everybody loves X-Men again. And then we have X-Men Wolverine, and we're okay with that.
Days of Future Past.
Days of Future Past. Everybody loves X-Men again.
Apocalypse.
Apocalypse.
Deadpool,
yay! It really is a roller coaster with these
and
X-Men
Logan,
movies.
yay!
And Logan, yay! Which Logan, I actually had it in here. We didn't end up doing it. Logan is going to be submitted. The first movie that's been submitted so far for the Oscar selection. Which I can't think of the last time.
I hadn't heard. I knew Wonder Woman was.
It's being pushed. Wonder Woman and Logan are both being pushed as comic book movies, are being pushed and sent out as Oscars screeners to Oscars voters.
That's cool.
Which very cool, yeah. To see, I mean, that is two very high quality movies.
I agree.
So yeah, I'm excited to see what they do. But I gotta say, I don't think these movies are coming back.
Yeah.
I got in a huge flame war on somebody on the internet because they thought that Spider-Man, since there was a Marvel movie of Spider-Man was back. He's not. He's on rental. He's on lease.
He's basically, yeah.
Yeah. So, and Sony's now planning like all these other
They have
Spider-Man
their own
movies.
universe. So they might try to take him back.
I think they're going to try to take him back. I think they're going to let Marvel boost him up because he's got 2 more movies on their slate.
Yep.
He's got an Avengers movie and a Spider-Man 2. And then once those are done, I think Sony's like, all right, you raised his appeal to all the masses. We're going to take him back.
Yep.
We're going to ruin him again. We're going to go do all this other stuff. And maybe they do, but
if they have a nice template, I don't think they'll ruin it. I think I think there's a chance they could actually start this going, and
it's very possible, yeah.
But I also Fox. We've been hearing rumors that a Doctor Doom movie is being made. Also, a Fantastic Four movie starring like the kids of the Richards. So
that'd be interesting, yeah.
It doesn't sound like
there's definitely a Venom movie happening with Tom Hardy starting.
Yeah.
And then there's another movie, Silver and Black.
Yep.
Which is
I think it sounds interesting.
It sounds interesting, but these are some very obscure Spider-Man characters.
Yeah, they're not characters you.
Silver Sable, who is really obscure, and Black Cat, who is somewhat known because she was in the cartoons and stuff.
Video games.
Video games, yeah. Silver Sable, though, that's deep cuts.
That's really deep cut, yeah.
Yeah. I had to think about that one for a second.
I would not put Stan Lee on the other, unless he's talking about cameos in Marvel movies. He doesn't really know what Marvel, the studios, is up to. He's not part of that.
He's part of their press corps now. That's what he does. All right, last one up. Girl in the Spider's Web, which is part of the Millennium series. The girl with the dragon tattoo, girl who played with fire, and the girl who kicked the hornet's nest. It's the 4th book. They're relaunching the thing, and they've recast Elizabeth Salander. Does it matter that they've recast Elizabeth Salander, or are we just over recasting?
I think right now, since it's been so long, it's understandable.
Yeah.
I think. Is it supposed to be connected to that last movie, or are they
I don't think it's connected at all.
reboots basically?
It's basically a reboot because they're talking about doing that one and then rebooting back into Girl with the Dragon Tattoo.
Okay, then it's acceptable. I'm interested. I enjoyed the last movie. I enjoyed Girl with the Dragon Tattoo film. So
have you seen the Swedish ones?
I think I tried watching it, but it really
they're solid. They're good.
Okay,
and it's
I think
it's why Numi Rapace.
I don't know.
So Numi Rapace, who played Elizabeth Salander in the Swedish versions, is now a movie star over here. So,
cool.
All right, well, that is the show for this week. And I got to say, that was the best damn show we ever did. And it's all because we had Trevor Allen. Thank you to Trevor Allen for being on the show. Check in next week, though. We're going to try to top it. We're going to do even better next week. So stick around. Come back for that.
Excuse me. I'm
yeah.
not here.
No, but that's just it. That's how good this show is. We're just going to keep topping it. Every week, it's just going to get better and better and better. And you're going to like it. And it's going to feel good all the time. A little bit of Scrooge there.
Do it live.
Okay, do it live. All right, thanks so much for watching the show. If you have questions about the show or issues with the show, or if you also want to be a host, you can email us. It's bigbms@zoho.com. That's right there on the screen. If you want to hear more of what I have to say, you can check me out. I have a podcast. It's called Die Hard on a Blank. You can find it at your little podcast searcher thing by checking out the Geek Wars Podcast Network. Just type in Geek Wars Podcast, and you'll find us.
Yeah, I'm going to have to check that out.
You should check that out. Trevor, anything you want to plug, like your own podcast?
Yeah, I'm on the Geek Wars Podcast Network as well.
What?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
I do podcasts
Small world.
on there called the Dackless Weekly, which is basically just a live journal I record every day. I record a little something just to talk about my day and go through it. If you want to just actually get a live idea of a person, just listen to that.
Interesting.
It's not necessarily entertaining, but it is
interesting.
It's a social
experiment or something.
Experiment.
There you go. Awesome. All right. Come back next week. We're going to be talking about Kingsman Golden Circle with Jason Allen.
Wow.
All right.
I didn't realize that was out next week.
Yeah, next week. It's already here. So, yeah. No, yeah, I'm looking forward to Kingsman Golden Circle. That's going to be badass.